A quiet shift is happening in the world of fitness and nutrition. A single powder overlooked for years is now gaining attention because researchers keep finding something surprising about it. It lowers inflammation deep inside the body, it helps shrink stubborn fat, and it supports the kind of muscle growth most people struggle to achieve. People talk about protein shakes, detox drinks, and weight loss hacks. Yet very few know that this one powder works on all three systems at the same time. That is why those who discover it often call it the missing piece they did not know they needed. Today's video exposes the science behind this unusual combination of effects. Chronic inflammation is one of the most underestimated barriers to progress. It slows metabolism, weakens muscle recovery, disrupts hormones, and makes fat loss harder than it should be. Many people train harder, eat cleaner, or cut calories, but still feel stuck. The reason is often hidden inflammation at the cellular level, the type that does not cause dramatic symptoms, yet affects nearly everything the body tries to build or repair. The powder you are about to learn about has been studied for its ability to calm that deep inflammation and allow your body to operate at its full potential again. Stay with this video because the most surprising part is not that it reduces inflammation. The twist is that when inflammation drops, the entire metabolism behaves differently. Muscle cells respond better to nutrients, recovery speeds up, and fat cells become less resistant to change. Some studies even show improvements in antioxidant activity, meaning the body becomes better at repairing itself from the inside. Most people never hear this because mainstream health advice focuses on calories and workouts, not the internal chemistry that makes those efforts effective. You will also discover why this powder supports serious muscle growth. It does not act like a typical supplement. Instead of working on the surface, it supports the biological signals that tell muscle fibers to rebuild stronger after exercise. When those signals are less blocked by inflammation, muscle-building pathways stay open longer and operate more efficiently. That is one reason athletes and trainers have become increasingly curious about this compound. It is not flashy, it is not marketed loudly, yet the results appear consistently in research. This video will also break down how the powder helps shrink fat in a way that surprises many people. Fat loss is not only about burning calories, it is about convincing fat cells to release stored energy, and this becomes easier when inflammation in fat tissue is reduced. Studies now show that inflamed fat is stubborn fat. When inflammation drops, the body becomes willing to let go of stored fat much more easily. This is one of the least talked about concepts in weight loss science, and by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why this happens and how to use it to your advantage. By watching until the final minute, you will learn the exact mechanism behind this powder, the key research findings that support its benefits, the mistake people make when using it at the wrong time, and how you can incorporate it safely and effectively into your routine. You will also hear one lesser-known fact that most supplement companies never talk about: the specific way this powder interacts with muscle recovery and metabolic stress after intense workouts. This detail alone can help you avoid wasting time and effort in the gym. Stay tuned, because every section builds toward a clearer picture of how this powder transforms inflammation, fat loss, and muscle building into one connected system. Missing even one part of the explanation could mean missing the result you want. By the end, you will have a complete understanding of how this natural compound works and why so many people are suddenly paying attention to it. Welcome to our channel. If you enjoy science-backed health content presented in simple and clear language, make sure to subscribe and join us for more videos that give you real strategies, not trends. Let us begin. The powder at the center of this video is not new, yet its combined power is only now getting the attention it deserves. It is a blend of two well-studied ingredients, curcumin and whey protein. On their own, each offers important benefits, but together they create a level of support for inflammation control, fat reduction, and muscle growth that is far greater than most people expect. This combination works at multiple levels inside the body, which is why the effects feel so different compared to regular supplements. Curcumin is the bright yellow compound found in turmeric, a spice used for centuries in traditional medicine. Researchers have spent years studying this one molecule because it interacts directly with the body's inflammatory pathways. It helps calm the signals that trigger unnecessary inflammation, especially the kind that affects fat tissue, joints, and muscle cells. Unlike common anti-inflammatory drugs, curcumin does not simply block the immune response. It helps regulate it, reducing excessive inflammation while allowing the body to continue its natural healing process. This is important because chronic inflammation quietly slows down metabolism, weakens muscle recovery, and makes the body store more fat. By addressing this internal stress, curcumin sets a healthier foundation for everything else the body tries to do: burn fat, build muscle, or maintain energy. The second part of this combination is whey protein, one of the most researched proteins in the world. Its strength comes from its fast absorption and its high concentration of leucine, an amino acid that triggers muscle protein synthesis. When muscles experience stress from exercise, they need leucine to start the repair process. Whey delivers this signal quickly, giving the body the building blocks it needs to rebuild stronger muscle fibers. Because it digests rapidly, it also reduces the delay between exercise and recovery, a period when the body is most responsive to nutrients. When curcumin and whey protein are taken together, the body receives support on two fronts: reduced inflammation and enhanced muscle building signals. This dual action is what makes this powder combination stand out. Curcumin plays a powerful role in reducing inflammation because it directly influences the pathways that control how the body responds to stress. One of the main pathways it affects is known as NF-κB, a signaling system that becomes highly active when the body senses injury, irritation, or metabolic pressure. When NF-κB stays switched on for too long, it creates a constant stream of inflammatory signals, especially in fat tissue. This low-grade hidden inflammation is one of the reasons people struggle with slow metabolism, stubborn fat, and poor recovery. Curcumin helps quiet this pathway, reducing the intensity of those inflammatory signals and allowing the tissues to return to a healthier state. By calming inflammation in fat cells, curcumin supports more efficient metabolic function and helps the body respond better to diet and training. When curcumin is paired with whey protein, the effect becomes even more interesting. Research shows that this combination can change the balance of inflammatory markers inside muscle tissue after intense physical stress. In animal studies, the blend lowered IL-6, a cytokine associated with inflammation, fatigue, and muscle soreness. At the same time, it increased IL-10, a cytokine known for its anti-inflammatory and recovery-supporting effects. This shift in the internal environment of the muscle is significant because it means the muscle is less overwhelmed by stress and better equipped to repair itself. After heavy exercise, muscles normally experience microtears, oxidative stress, and spikes in inflammatory signals. The curcumin and whey combination helps moderate these responses so the body can move through the recovery phase more efficiently. The impact of this reduced inflammation goes far beyond comfort. With lower levels of oxidative and inflammatory stress, muscle fibers suffer less damage and recover more quickly. This allows the muscle building process to begin sooner and progress more smoothly. Even the body's antioxidant defenses appear to operate more effectively when inflammation is controlled. Less oxidative stress means fewer free radicals damaging tissues and a more favorable environment for both strength gains and metabolic improvements. This blend does not mask pain or artificially suppress the immune system. It supports a more balanced response that helps the body repair, rebuild, and adapt at a faster and healthier rate. Fat loss becomes much easier to understand when you look at what is happening inside fat tissue itself. Many people think fat gain comes only from eating too much or moving too little, but a major factor is something far less obvious: chronic inflammation inside adipose tissue. This type of inflammation is sometimes called metaflammation, a slow, persistent state that affects how fat cells behave. When adipose tissue becomes inflamed, it attracts immune cells called macrophages. These macrophages release pro-inflammatory signals that make fat cells more insulin resistant, more stressed, and more likely to store energy instead of releasing it. Over time, this creates a loop where inflamed fat cells encourage even more inflammation, making fat loss harder and weight gain easier. Curcumin helps interrupt this cycle by reducing the infiltration of macrophages into fat tissue. With fewer macrophages triggering inflammatory reactions, the environment inside fat cells becomes calmer and more functional. Curcumin also lowers the release of pro-inflammatory adipokines, the chemical messengers produced by fat cells that can influence appetite, metabolism, and insulin sensitivity. When these inflammatory adipokines decrease, fat cells behave more normally. They become more willing to release stored energy, respond better to metabolic signals, and contribute less to hormonal disruption. This shift alone can make a noticeable difference for anyone struggling with stubborn fat despite dieting or exercising. Reducing metaflammation has several ripple effects throughout the body. When inflammation drops inside fat tissue, insulin sensitivity often improves. Better insulin sensitivity means the body can move glucose into cells more efficiently instead of storing it as fat. Hormonal communication also becomes clearer and more precise, allowing metabolism to operate at a higher level. Even the mitochondria inside fat cells, responsible for burning energy, appear to work more effectively when inflammation is controlled. As the inflammatory load decreases, the body no longer fights against its own attempts to burn fat. Fat cells become more responsive to signals that prompt them to shrink, making calorie deficits, exercise, and healthy habits far more effective. This is why reducing inflammation is not just a supportive step, it is often the key that unlocks the full fat-burning potential of the body, especially for those who feel stuck despite consistent effort. Building muscle is not only about lifting weights, it is about sending the right signals to the body at the right time and giving the muscles what they need to repair and grow. Whey protein plays a central role in this process because it contains one of the most powerful muscle-building amino acids, leucine. Leucine acts like a switch for muscle protein synthesis. When leucine levels rise in the bloodstream, it signals the muscle cells to begin rebuilding the fibers that were stressed or damaged during exercise. Whey is one of the richest natural sources of leucine and is absorbed quickly, allowing the muscle-building signal to activate shortly after training. This fast response is important because the body is most sensitive to amino acids during the period right after a workout. Curcumin adds another layer of support that benefits muscle growth in a different way. While whey provides the building blocks and the signal to start repair, curcumin helps create a healthier internal environment where muscle tissue can recover more effectively. Intense exercise often leads to inflammation, micro tears, and connective tissue stress. Curcumin helps reduce this excessive inflammatory response, allowing the body to repair tissue without being overwhelmed by unnecessary stress. Some research shows that when curcumin is combined with whey protein, muscle fibers increase in size more effectively, and there is less connective tissue damage. This is important because connective tissue damage is one of the main sources of soreness and stiffness that slows down training progress. When the soft tissues recover faster, athletes can train more consistently with better performance. The combination of curcumin and whey also supports the body's antioxidant defenses. Intense physical activity produces oxidative stress, which can damage cells and slow recovery. Curcumin helps neutralize these free radicals, while whey provides amino acids that support internal antioxidant systems. Together, they reduce oxidative damage and allow muscle cells to maintain their structure and function. When oxidative stress is lower, the body can allocate more resources to growth and adaptation rather than repair alone. This dual approach, fueling muscle repair with whey and reducing internal stress with curcumin, creates conditions where muscle growth becomes smoother and more efficient. Instead of fighting inflammation and oxidative pressure, the body can focus on building stronger, thicker muscle fibers. This is why many people who combine these two nutrients notice faster recovery, better strength progression, and a more noticeable improvement in muscle quality. Evidence from real-world research gives extra weight to what curcumin and whey appear to do inside the body. One clinical relevant study examined a multi-ingredient supplement that included curcumin along with other metabolic support compounds. In this human study, participants experienced a noticeable reduction in fat mass while preserving lean muscle even without extreme dieting. The interesting part was that lean mass did not decrease, which often happens when people lose weight quickly. Instead, the combination supported fat loss while maintaining the muscle tissue that keeps metabolism active. This outcome aligns with the biological effects seen in lab settings: lower inflammation, improved metabolic signaling, and better nutrient use all contribute to a healthier body composition. The findings from this study are significant because they reflect changes measured in real people, not only in controlled laboratory experiments. Participants showed improvements in body composition, energy levels, and markers linked to metabolic health. When lean mass is preserved during fat loss, the body is better able to sustain long-term progress. This is important because the loss of muscle during weight reduction is one of the biggest reasons people hit plateaus or regain fat. The supplement used in the study also supported better exercise performance and recovery, suggesting that the combination of nutrients, including curcumin, influenced the body's ability to adapt to training. At the same time, researchers emphasize that not all evidence comes from human trials. Some of the most detailed insights about curcumin's anti-inflammatory effects, its interaction with whey, and its influence on muscle fibers and adipose tissue come from animal studies. These studies allow scientists to examine mechanisms that are difficult to measure directly in humans, such as microscopic changes inside muscle tissue or shifts in inflammatory markers after exhaustive exercise. However, because a portion of the research is based on animals, more clinical trials are still needed to clarify how strong these effects are in different groups of people. Variables such as age, training level, diet, and overall health could change how the combination works from person to person. Some studies also use higher doses or specialized forms of curcumin that may not match the supplements people commonly buy. These factors create gaps that future human research will need to address. Even with these limitations, the early clinical findings and consistent patterns across different types of research suggest that the combination of curcumin and whey has meaningful potential. The real-world results observed so far point toward a blend that supports fat reduction, preserves muscle, and improves recovery in ways that align closely with the biological mechanisms scientists have been documenting for years. Using this powder combination effectively starts with choosing the right form. Most people get curcumin as a capsule or powdered extract and pair it with a whey protein supplement. Some companies also offer blends where curcumin is already mixed into whey protein concentrate, similar to what researchers used in certain studies. Either approach can work as long as the curcumin is a high-quality extract and the whey is a clean, fast-digesting source. The goal is to give the body a steady supply of amino acids for muscle repair while also supporting inflammation control with curcumin. Dosage varies depending on the product, but research often uses curcumin in amounts that range from moderate to high. When curcumin was mixed into whey protein in studies, the blend allowed both ingredients to work together inside muscle tissue after stress. The amount you choose should follow the instructions on your supplement, but the key is consistency. Curcumin does not work instantly. It accumulates its benefits over time. Whey, on the other hand, works more quickly because its amino acids are absorbed within minutes of reaching the stomach. This makes whey ideal for use around training sessions. Timing also plays an important role. Many people take whey protein shortly after a workout to take advantage of the increased sensitivity of muscle tissue to amino acids. This is the period when leucine has the strongest effect on muscle protein synthesis. Curcumin, however, may be better taken at a different time of day. Some trainers and researchers prefer spacing it away from workouts to avoid interfering with the natural inflammatory signals that help trigger muscle growth. The body needs a small amount of inflammation after training to start the repair process, and reducing it too aggressively at the wrong moment could influence that signal. For that reason, some people take curcumin later in the day with food or in the morning on rest days. This approach supports the long-term reduction of chronic inflammation without cutting into the acute response needed for muscle building. Safety is another important consideration. Curcumin is generally well tolerated, but its absorption in the body is naturally low. To get the full effect, it helps to choose formulas that contain enhanced forms of curcumin or extracts combined with black pepper or piperine, which significantly increase bioavailability. Whey protein is usually safe for most people, although those who are lactose intolerant may prefer whey isolate or an alternative protein source. Staying hydrated, following recommended serving sizes, and using supplements consistently rather than sporadically allows the body to benefit from both ingredients in the most effective way.
Although curcumin and whey protein offer impressive benefits, there are important precautions to keep in mind, so the combination works with your body, not against it.
One of the biggest considerations is the role of inflammation in muscle growth. After intense training, the body creates a short burst of natural inflammation. This temporary response signals the muscles to begin repairing and rebuilding. If inflammation is suppressed too aggressively at the wrong time, it may reduce the strength of that signal. This is why timing matters. Taking curcumin immediately after a workout might interfere with the early phase of muscle adaptation for some people. Spacing curcumin away from workouts gives the body room to use that natural inflammatory response without blocking it too soon. Another important factor is supplement quality. Curcumin and whey protein are extremely popular products, and the market includes everything from highly purified formulas to low-grade powders that may contain fillers, poor quality flavoring agents, or contaminants. When supplements are not third-party tested, there is no guarantee that the label accurately reflects what is inside. Curcumin extracts can vary widely in potency, and whey products sometimes contain unnecessary additives or may even be spiked with cheaper proteins. Choosing brands that provide transparency, testing certificates, and clear ingredient lists helps ensure that you are getting clean, effective supplements that support your goals rather than compromise them. It is also essential to consider how these supplements interact with your overall health. Curcumin is generally safe, but it can influence how the body processes certain medications. It may affect blood thinners, diabetes medications, and drugs that impact the liver or stomach. People with medical conditions, those taking prescription drugs, or anyone unsure about how curcumin fits into their routine should speak with a doctor or a nutrition professional before starting. The goal is not only to avoid interactions, but also to understand whether curcumin's anti-inflammatory effects are appropriate for your individual situation. Whey protein is also safe for most people, but those with lactose intolerance or dairy sensitivities may experience digestive discomfort if they choose the wrong type. Whey isolate is often easier on the stomach than whey concentrate, and some individuals may need to test different varieties to see what works best for them. Listening to your body and monitoring how you respond to the combination helps you adjust your approach without unnecessary stress. Taking a thoughtful and informed approach ensures that both curcumin and whey protein support your progress in the safest and most effective way. Curcumin and whey protein together create a powerful combination that works on multiple levels. This powder not only helps fight chronic inflammation, but also supports fat loss and promotes serious muscle growth. By targeting the root causes that slow recovery and hinder body composition, it gives your body the environment it needs to perform, recover, and adapt more efficiently. If you are looking for a supplement that can support both your workouts and your overall health, this combination is definitely worth considering. It is simple, backed by research, and can be integrated into your routine in a way that complements your diet and exercise. Have you ever tried curcumin or protein powders? Share your experience in the comments below. We want to know what has worked for you and what results you've noticed. If you found this video helpful and want more science-backed advice on fitness, recovery, and supplementation, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Turn on notifications so you never miss a video that could help you reach your fitness goals faster.